Hello guys, welcome to week 2 of this projects course. Today we are going to cover SQL learning using BigQuery, Google BigQuery. We are going to use a real data. This is the data of my expenses from January to June 2023. I usually track them on a daily basis. We will use this to write queries. We are going to do basic, intermediate and even advanced topic like Windows functions in these questions. If you have not watched the first week video, which is on using Excel with Google Sheets, I put the link in the description. So let's begin the video right away. So once again, welcome to this practical project. We are going to use real data to understand and learn SQL, write queries and make insights. And we're going to use Google BigQuery. Okay. So I have some data here. For example, there's the date, the company basically where this expense was done. There is something called category ID. We'll learn about this further. And what was the cost, right? Like what was the amount spent? So there's a separate table called category ID and category. So you have category ID and the category. So for example, 1 is rent, 5 is recharge, 8 is shopping and so on. Now we're going to try and answer questions by uploading this data to Google BigQuery. We are going to answer a lot of questions. Okay. So what is the first step? We can go and put this URL. I'll put it in our description as well. And you will land in a place like Google BigQuery. Okay. Now you can say create project as a first step. Give it a name BigQuery analysis. Right. You can give whatever name you want. I'm going to say create. Okay. That's the step number 1. It will take some time to create a project. Okay. And this is where we can actually upload our data and start writing queries. So now it's loaded. So over here I can go and say create dataset. So dataset, let me say expenses. Okay, I can give it any name I want. Rest you can leave it as such and just say create dataset. Okay, so now I have a dataset called expense. In this I can upload tables. Okay, so how are we going to upload tables? So I'm going to go and download this as a CSV file. Okay, so I downloaded that. Same way I will download category also as a CSV file. Now I have downloaded both. So I can go here and say first of all create table. So I want to upload a table. So I'll select upload. So as a first step I'll select the data table. Okay, and I can give it a name data. Over here I will say auto detect and create table. Right, so first I'm uploading the data table. So now we have the data table loaded. You can go to 3D buttons and click on query and you can select everything from the table, right? I will just remove this limit. So if I select everything from the table, you get the data now. Okay. So basically here what you have is BigQuery analysis 412600. That's the name of the project. Expenses is the name of your data set and data is the name of your table. Okay. You can also go here and click on open to understand the data types. Like there is date column, which is date, company is a string, category ID is an integer, cost is an integer. Okay. Same way I want to upload the other table, which is category. So I will again say create table. I will say upload and I want to browse my computer to upload. So I'm going to come and say category and give it a name category itself, right? So it's easy to understand. Auto detect and create table. Okay, again it might take a few seconds and it will finish loading. So now I also have the category table. So if I say query and I select star, I'll be able to see the category table, right? So as you notice, category table has category ID. The data table also has category ID. This is the common column between the two. Okay. Now we have both the data sets ready and the tables ready. So let's start writing our queries and answering questions. First question, find the unique categories in the data table. Okay. So I'm going to go here. So how do you do unique categories? I can say distinct category ID, right? As simple as that. And then I just run the query. So of course there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the data table. Okay, so I'm going to copy the query and I'm going to save it here. Okay, that's the query. So next one, show the purchase which had the highest cost. Okay, So let me go back to this table and select everything. So the purchase which had the highest cost. So basically we want to find the maximum, right? So I can simply say maximum of cost, right? This is a very simple formula to get started. These are more like warm-up questions. So we get 630, right? So that is the answer. So I'm just going to copy this and come here and paste the query. Okay. Write a query to show only first 20 rows of data. So what is the logic we need to use? So if you say select everything, you'll obviously get all the rows, right? So if you have to select only the first 20 rows of data, what can we do? You can simply write the statement called limit. Okay, so you can say limit 20. When you write that, it's going to show only 20 rows. As you see here, now we are only able to see 20 rows. Okay, so I'm going to save this query as well. So these are all pretty quick. Yeah, like if it's multiple lines, it's coming here. So maybe I'll remove it from here, and yeah, I can paste it here. Okay, so this is question number 3. Okay, maybe I'll just create question numbers. Okay, so 1 2 3 and so on. Then you can just do like this. So this was question number 3, right? Now let's move to the next question. Show the unique company names where money has been spent. So I go back here and I say select everything. So unique company names where money has been spent. So I can simply say distinct company, right? It's very similar to one of the previous questions we just solved. So you see the company names, like there are like a lot, like close to 21 company names. These are the unique names where money has been spent. Okay, so I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say question 4 and paste my query. Okay, let me go back to the questions. Next question, how many unique days has money been spent in each month? So in each month, how many unique days, right? So for that, first we need to also find the month. So how can we do this question? So let me say select everything from the table, right? So now I have a lot of dates like Jan, Feb, March, April, and so on. 2023. That's I think even May and June. So what can we do for month? We can try to use a formula called extract of month from date. Okay. So if I run this query, let's see what we get. We're able to get the months, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The question here is unique days money has been spent in each month. Okay. So I can select the month and unique days. What can we do for unique days? You can do a count of distinct date, right? And then you can do that and then group by this extract of month from date itself, right? So that will give for each month the unique number of days. Let us now run the query, right? So as you notice, in month 1, which is January, 13 unique days, some kind of purchase was done. In month 2, February, it was 18 and so on. Okay, so the highest seems to be in March when there was something spent on 21 unique days, right? That's why we are doing count of distinct date. So this is going to be question number 5. So I'm going to paste the query. Okay, let's move to question number 6. For the above question, do the same, just show it in descending order, right? So what is the difference here? The same thing I want to show in descending order of this count distinct date. So I can simply say order by count of distinct date and then say descending. Okay, so now we will see the month of March, which had the highest number of unique days on top, right? Now this is in descending order. So I'm going to copy this and this is going to be question number 6, right? Almost same, we are just also doing some kind of sorting. Okay, that's question number 6, and anyways I'll put this in our description, the solution also, so you can use it later. Let's move to the next question. Show only data of category ID 3, 4. Okay, this is question number 7. So again, I'm going to just delete all this and I'm going to say select star. Okay, category ID 3, 4, only that. So what we can do, it's a very simple thing. So you can say where category ID in 3, 4, right? You need to use the in statement. So this will only show all the data, all the expenses of these these two categories, 3 and 4, as you see. Okay, if we see a lot of 4, category 3 is very minimal, I think just once. So that's the answer. Okay, this is question number 7. So I'm going to paste the query here. Okay, let's move to the next question. Question number 8. What is the highest category ID of expense in March? Right. So we also want to filter for the month here. Let's go here. Highest category ID of expense in March. Okay. So first of all, what we can do, we can say where extract of month from date is equal to 3. Okay, because we want for March category ID with the highest expense. So what we can do, we can write category ID. We can do the sum of cost, right? The total cost. And then we want to group by category ID, right? And not only that, they want the highest, right? So I can also do order by sum of cost descending, right? Very similar to the previous question. So what I'm doing here is I'm just filtering for month number 3, which is March. For each category ID, the total cost, and then grouping by category ID, obviously, and then also ordering by sum of cost descending so that we can see the highest on top. Okay, so now let me run this query. And we can see category ID 1 had the highest expense. It was 630. We don't know what this is. We'll see it later. But category ID 1 had 630 euro worth expenses. So I'm going to copy this query. So this is question number 8. Okay. So we're done with question 8. Let's move to the next question. Question 9. Which store, I think by store they mean the company, had the highest expense in May? Okay. So now it's May. So I'm just going to change this. Sum of cost is the same. So when they mean store, it means company. So I'm going to select company and then group by company, right? And order by sum of cost descending because I want to see the highest. And this is for the month of May. So let me run this. And I notice, okay, Prima again, right? Like this is the rent that I spend usually every month. So Prima has the highest. The next one is Rewe, which is a kind of supermarket. Okay, so this is how you can do this question. Month number 5 May, which company or store had the highest expense? So I'm going to copy this again. This is question number 9, right? So we'll keep moving. Next is question number 10. Question number 10. Which category had the lowest total number in February, right? Lowest total number. I think they mean lowest total cost for February. Which category? Okay. So now there is a small twist. So here, right, in the data table, if you notice, if I say select everything, just going to close this and say star. So if you notice here, I have only category ID. I don't have the name of the category. Category comes from this table, right? So if I click on this table, there's category ID and category, right? So we can try to join on category ID between the two tables. And we need to find for February, okay? So what can we do here? So I will take from this table, data table. I will call it as A, and I want to join this with basically the other table. So the other table name is also the same almost. So I can copy like this, and instead of data, the table's name is category, right? I'm going to substitute it like that and say as B, right? So we are going to try and do a join. And what is the common connection? Both have category ID, right? So I'm going to say A dot category ID equal to B dot category ID, right? And now from the second table, I can select the category, and from the first table, I can select the total cost. Okay, I can do this, and then I group by B dot category, and what else for February, right? So I need to also do one where condition. So where extract of month from date, right? That filter is equal to 2, right? 2 means February. So let's run this and see. It will be again rent only. Rent is highest usually, but then next one we see it is grocery, right? 276, which makes sense. The rent, grocery is usually my highest expense. So some restaurant and other things we can see as well. Okay, so this is how you can join on a common column, put a filter and also group by to see the cost, right? All right, so I'm going to just copy this. This is question number 10, right? So I'm going to paste it here and let's continue. Question number 11. Show the data only where shop name, I guess this means company name, contains the letter W. Okay, so this is just one table again. So I will say select everything from this table. Shop name, right? So where we can say company like percentage W percentage. So this means that using the like we can find whichever contain the letter or the word W. So you have for instance Rewe, right, majorly, and Woolworth, right, capital W, it starts with that letter. So these are the shops, right? So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. This is question number 11. Moving on to question number 12. Find a way to get the category based on category ID. This is what I showed you just a while back. So let us say from this table I select everything. I'll say a dot star. I will call it as A. How can we join with the other table? You can simply do a join and yeah, just copy this table name and then just replace the last part. Instead of data, it is category table. So I can do that as B, and then you can say on A dot category ID equal to B dot category ID, right? And I can say B dot star as well, right? So I'm joining both the tables. Let me see whatever is possible. So now I can see, okay, company prima category ID 1. Second table also has a category ID. So since it's a duplicate column name, it's giving underscore 1. And what is the actual name of category? So 1 is rent, 2 is grocery, and so on, right? So if I move forward, I see 6 is ticket, 7 is cosmetics, and so on, right? This is how you can join both the tables. I will just copy this. Okay, this is question number 12. Okay, let's move to next question. Question number 13. Is there any category ID not present in the data table? Okay, how can we do this? So first of all, let us select this table, right? Category table, the original table, and let's see what is there. So over here, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So 10 unique category IDs. But if I were to see the original table, the other one, data table, and say from that table, distinct category ID, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So that means category ID 10 is actually missing from data table. But how can we show this, right? Is there a way to show this by comparing the two tables, right? So what we can do here, so we can select distinct category ID. This is obviously an option and then manually compare. But other than that, what we can do, we can make our category table like primary, like this, as A this time. Okay, and then I'm going to join this with data table as B. Okay, so far so good. On A dot category ID equal to B dot category ID, right? This is very simple. So again, I can select everything from both tables for sake of simplicity, and then here you have to write a join, but I'm going to do a left join, right? So what left join will do is it will show all the category IDs from the category table If there is a match in data table, it will show the match, otherwise it will show null. Okay, so if I do like this, let's see what happens. We get 115 rows. Okay, so you can scroll down, can even make this 200. So I see all the results in one page. If you notice, I will see everything, right? All the data. But at the bottom, right, category ID 10 is not there in the data table. So you get everything is null, right? So how can we now spot only the ones which are null? You can say where b dot, let's say date is null, right? Any column which is null, you can just pick that, because when there is a match, obviously there'll be a date in the data table. Then we see this, right? Then we see this category ID. This is the one that is there in the category table, but it is not there in the data table, right? So there has not been any expense related to this category others. So I'm going to copy this. This is, I think, question number 13. Okay, again a simple use of left join. Now let's move to question number 14. Show categories with expense more than 150 for the month of April, right? So again, let us delete this. So this time I will make our data table as primary as usual. I will make our category table as secondary. Okay, and I just want to do a normal join, right? Wherever there are matches. So that is all fine. On will still remain the same. Now from the first table, again I want to know the category, right? And what do we want? Expenses. So I'll say category actually comes from the second table, right? B table. So I'll do b dot category. And from the first table, I want to do cost. So I will say sum of a dot cost. Is there any other filter? Month of April, right? Note that down. So where extract of month from date, right? So April is the fourth month, so we can say is equal to 4. Then group by b dot category, right? This is step number 1. Now let us see what we get. So we get a lot of expense. Okay, and now they want to show only those with more than 150. Okay, so what can we do here? We can simply say having, right? On an aggregated calculated column, we can put a filter like using having sum of a dot cost greater than 150. Now we'll see only those categories. It's going to be rent and grocery. The rest are below 150, right? Nice use of the having clause. This is question number 14. Okay, so let us move to question number 15. They're asking any patterns in ticket expenses over time, right? So what do they mean? Let us combine both these tables together, right? And I'm going to say a dot star comma b dot star, right? So let's see what we get. So there is a category. Let's see if there's a category like ticket. So I'll say where category equal to ticket. Okay, not sure if there is something like that, but let's see. Okay, so there is no data. Maybe it's capital T. Let's try like that. And you see DB is Deutsche Bahn company where I spend for tickets. Yes, there are ticket columns. They're asking any patterns. Okay, so maybe what we can do now, we can try and do it like per month, right? So I'll say as usual, maybe I'll extract the month, right? So I'll say extract of month from date, which we usually do, and patterns. So I'll try to put sum of cost itself, right? And here it should be b dot category equal to ticket, and now group by basically this extract of month from date. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here. Okay. If you notice here, just by looking at it, there's a lot of 33s, but then there's a 98 as well. So let's see what has happened. Okay, so January was 33, Feb was 33. For some reason in March there has been a lot of expenses. It's become 99. April is 66. Then from May, basically this Deutschland ticket started. So me and my wife each took for 49 euro. So it became standardized. Okay. So for some reason March there have been a lot of trips, so it has increased, right? So that is the trend in terms of tickets. So I'm going to copy this. This is question number 15. Okay, I'm saving all the queries so you'll have access. Next, which restaurant has received the maximum orders based on days, right? So that means like which restaurant has received the orders on the unique number of days, right? That's what it means actually. So restaurant obviously is a category, so I'll put restaurant. Okay, and here the company, right? Company is where the name of the restaurant or the name of the shop is there, so I will say company. And the question is maximum orders based on number of days, so we want to count the unique days, which we kind of did a little bit earlier. So count of distinct date, right, for the restaurant category. So first let's run that and see. So many restaurants are there, right? Saranobaun is there, kebab shop is there. So Panda seems to be the highest. We could also simply say order by count of distinct date descending, right? So Pandas is a restaurant where we buy momos. That has been the most prominent in the 6 months, been there 9 times, right? That's the highest. So another interesting use case of count distinct order by alongside group by. Okay, so this was question number 16. So I'm going to paste the query. Let's move further. 17th question. Calculate average spend per day for restaurants. Okay, average spend per day. That means you have to find the total cost and divide it by the number of unique days you've been to the restaurant, right? This is one way of doing it. So the cost is what? Sum of cost divided by count of unique days, right? This will kind of, you could also do count of date. This is also another option, right? Assume that maybe on the same day you've been to two restaurants, then this number can change. So anyways, let us do both the calculations and see what is coming. So basically average spend per day for restaurants. So I'm going to do with unique days. So it shows on average when we go to a restaurant we spend around 15, right, based on unique days. If I change this to days, right, let's see what happens. Yeah, slightly lesser, 14.5, but still it's 14 to 15 euro on every visit on average to a restaurant. Okay, so that's what happens. So I'm going to save this question number 17, right? That's basically that 14 to 15 euro is the amount we spend on average when we go to a restaurant, right? Some may be lower, some may be higher. We are not sure about that, but basically that is the overall average. Which day of week saw the highest spend in me, right? So we need to know the function for day of week. Is it there? Maybe we can also check with ChatGPT. Highest spend for the month of May. So remember, it's for the month of May. So this is question number 18, right? Which day of week? So here we don't even need the category table. So I'm going to remove that. So I have date, right? So we have this function called format date, and you can say like percentage W. So if you're not sure, we can go and ask ChatGPT as well, right? So always ChatGPT is there to help. So group by weekday or day of week in Google BigQuery and find total cost. Please tell me formula, something like that. You can type something like this, should give, and it's going to give you a general example. It's giving sales date and it's saying format date. Okay, percentage A, right? That seems to be useful, so we will just copy that. So as you see, Sunday is 1, Saturday is 7, right? So let's go and try that. Here we have date. The question is highest spend in May. Okay, so we still need to keep that in mind. So I'll say sum of cost, okay, that is obviously there, and then group by this. So this step is covered, but before that it is May. So I have to say where extract of month from date is like it's month number 5, so I have to put 5, right? Let's run this and see. So as you see, we already get the day, so we get different ones. So it looks like Tuesday is the highest, right? And this is all categories put together. It looks like Tuesday is the highest. Obviously this is 734. That is because maybe on that day I paid the rent, right? Rent itself is 630. That is the reason, right? That becomes a big number. But other than that, you see Wednesday is also quite high, right, for the month of May. So I'm going to copy this. This is question number 18. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. Let's move to the next question. Question number 19. Calculate total cost for grocery per month and show month in year and month format, right? Separated by hyphen. So total cost for grocery per month. So let's go back here and let's do the join again, right? Because we need to identify this particular category called as grocery. So for that we need to join back with the category table. So I'm going to again write category. That is step number 1. And what is the common column? On a dot category id. So we are just going to repeat the same thing again. This is done. Now where clause we have to put where this b dot category should be equal to grocery, right? It's G with the capital, and I think the spelling here is wrong. Okay, and now we want to find total cost per month and show the month in year and month format. So for that, what we can do, like percentage A, you also have percentage Y, percentage M, right? This will show in year month format total cost. Okay, I think that is pretty much it. And I can also do a group by, right? And what do I want to group by? I want to group by this year month. So I guess this should be it. Let's run. The question is total cost of grocery per month. So for example, January is 210, May is 183, Feb is 276, March is 178, April is 174, and so on, right? June is also pretty less. And what else have they asked? They just asked to calculate that. So I'm just going to copy this, right? I'm going to put it here as question number 19. Okay, let's move further. Question number 20. Calculate total spend for shops starting with capital letter R. Okay, I think they want, like, for example, stuff like Rewe. So I'm going to just say sum of cost from the original table. I don't want to join. And the column name is company. So I'll say where company like R percentage, right? So that starts with the letter A. So let's give us the value 859. So if I want to see what are the companies, we can also do a group by. So you can just do like this and then say group by company. I'm not sure if there is anything else. Anyways, let's see. Right, there's Rewe and Rossmann, right? That's pretty much it. So I'm going to just copy this. This is simple. Question number 20. Right, so we are kind of getting closer to the end. Let's continue. 21. How many unique companies exist in the shopping category, right? So again, we have to go back to the join, right? So maybe I'm going to come here and pick this up, right? I'm going to put it back here. So the question goes like this: unique companies that exist in the shopping category. Okay, so we can say where b dot category, right, equal to shopping. So I will just say select star, right? First let's see if there is something like this. Actually, for spelling is right for shopping. Yeah, we have, for instance, Teddy, Amazon, and Woolworth. I think that is pretty much it. Anyway, I will say distinct company. That will give us the distinct values. So Teddy, Amazon, Woolworth, right? Only 3 companies are unique that exist in the shopping category. Okay, that was question number, if I remember right, 21. Okay, move to question number 22. What is the spending pattern at Rewe month-wise and any insights? Okay, so we can go back and pick this question up, right? I'm going to copy this. So Rewe and month wise, right? So I don't really need the join here. I think we just need the original table. So I want by month, so I'll put company, comma per month total cost, and then group by company as well, and you can say where company equal to Rewe, right? I think this should work. So the question again, let's see, it's question 22, spending pattern at Rewe month wise. Okay, so Rewe January 128, February 128, right? Very standardized. March 104. So March and April 145. March has dropped a little bit, I think, right? And then yeah, it's 120 and 130. It's very stable, pretty much around the same mark as you see, more or less. So it's like 120, 130, that kind of range, right? So there's no trend, but March I can see it's 104. That was the month like I made lesser purchases because my wife had gone home. That also makes sense. It's another use case of this format date function. So this is question number 22. So I'm going to paste. Okay. So we have, I think, about 12 more question. Any trend with respect to eating at Domino's? Okay. So same thing here. The company name will become, if we see the original data, right, it will become Domino's. Okay. So where you just remove this and say Domino's. Okay. Any trends? So I'll just see month wise. 1722, it's standardized. I think in March I've ordered a lot more. I didn't cook much. So March it has been a lot, 49. Otherwise it's 17, 14, 15, right? This is the standard if you order once a month. So we can also see distinct dates I have ordered in each month as well, just to see the patterns. So if you notice, yeah, most months it's one. In March alone, I've ordered 3 times with Domino's. Okay, that's the pattern. That is question number 23. I'm going to save the query. Let's move to the next question. 24. Is there any month where grocery expense is a bit different, or has it changed a little bit, right? So I think we did query similar to this, right? So I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to run this again. So grocery expense. Yeah, as you see, it's kind of standardized, right? January is 210, Feb is 276. There's picked up. And then, yeah, March and April, as you see, it's below 200. So like there's been a drop. And May is again 180, right? So it looks like February had a peak, right? Like February had a lot of grocery purchases. And then June again dropped. June, we went for a trip as well. We were not there for a few days in Germany. So I guess that's why it's dropped to 156. So I can strongly see February has peaked. It's a month where we have purchased a lot of grocery, right? That was question number 24. So February had a slight jump in terms of grocery expenses. Then move to 25. Show only the company with highest spend in each category for April, right? So this is probably a question where we might need to use something like Windows functions, right? Only the company with the highest spend in each category for April. Okay. So I probably don't need the category ID. I'll just remove that, the join, so I have the original table. So I probably need to find the total cost, right? So what we can do, we can do category ID. Then the company. So all this is good. And then this is only for specifically the month of April, right? So I have to say where extract of month from date is equal to 4, right? And then say group by category ID for comma company. So I could just copy this, right? So I get each month, each category, company, and then this, right? Now, what if I want to show only the highest? Like for example, category 2 is grocery. In that there is Rewe, there is Interstore, right? So what if I want to show only the highest, right? Same way in 4, which looks like a restaurant, there is Panda, Jaipur, Dominos, Kebab, and Saravana Bhavan. So only the highest, right? Saravana Bhavan is the highest spending. How can I pick and show that? So this is interesting. So I'll say sum of cost as total cost, right? This is step number 1. Now I can put this whole thing into a CT, right? So with clause, I can say with, let us say data new or something as, right? So I can do step number 1 like this. And now from this data, I can select company, comma, category ID, and then I can do a rank. Okay, so I can say rank over partition by category ID. So in each category ID, and also do a order by that total cost column descending, right, to show the one on top, and say as ranking, right? And then I say from final new, right? That is the name of the temporary clause or table I have created with the width. So now I can run this. Table final new must be qualified with the data set, right? So there is some error here. It's not final new, it's data new, right? Put the wrong name. Now it should work. Okay, so now I see, okay, in category ID 4, Saravana Bhavan is 1. In category ID 5, Lebara, that is 1. In Amazon and Teddy are category 8, which is shopping. Amazon is 1, right? Now I want to show only the ones that are 1. To do that, what we can do in BigQuery, we have a formula called qualify. You can say qualify ranking equal to 1, right? This is like a var clause, but meant for window functions. So if we write that, then we will see only the ones that are ranked 1 in each category, right? So Rewe is coming as the highest in grocery, Rossmann comes in cosmetics, Saravana Bhavan in restaurant, Amazon in shopping, and I think DB is the only thing in tickets. So we are getting all that, right? So this is a nice use case of the with class, normal group by, and also learning to use the window function like rank, and filtering rank or window function we can use qualify, right? So great question, this one. Question number 25, I'm going to save. Okay, question 26, let's move on. We have, I think, few more questions. Percentage change in total cost for each month and find the month with the highest percentage change. So anytime you have percentage change year on year, it's time to use a window function like lag. Okay, so for each month, percentage change in cost they're asking. So I'm going to start with select, and we need month, right? So we can write format date function and say percentage y percentage m, right? That is step number 1. And we want to find the total cost, right? So I can say sum of cost and then copy this and put it in the group by. Okay, so there is no filter here, so I will remove where, and I'm just going to run this. Okay, I think there are 2 commas. I will remove the one of them. Format date, it should be for the date function, right? Date column, so I forgot to put that over here as well, right? So sometimes be careful, you might see errors like this, silly mistakes only, right? So I'm getting total cost all months. Okay, so this is great. So now what I can do, I can put this in a with final as in a CTE, right? That is the first step. Now I have to calculate percentage change. So now I can say select, let us say this format date, whatever is called as year month, I give it an alias name. So I can say year month total cost, and also to see the previous value I can say lag of this column, lag of total cost, then over here there is just month and year, right? So we don't really need a partition, so we can say order by this year month column, right? Ascending order. and I can call this as previous month cost, right? And say from final. Let's see what we get. So you see each month. So for example, January 1062 is total cost. Previous month is not there, it's null. February total cost 1166. Previous month value was 1062. We get that. And here it's not in order. But for example, March 1071. Previous month cost is February. That's 1166, and we are getting that here, right? So this is like we are getting them side by side. How can we now calculate percentage change? So for that, it just becomes a little more complicated. So I will put this whole thing into another CTE. So with, I will say final 2 as or something like that. Okay, close the brackets. Just drag this down, and now from this final 2 I can select year month. Then I want to do this percentage difference. So I will write total cost minus previous month cost divided by previous month cost, right? From final 2, that's the second CTE, and then I want to order by year month, right? And if I want to do percentage, I can also put this whole thing and multiply it by 100, right? Let's see what we get. Okay, so we don't really see the values. So if I want to also see the values over here, I can put those columns as well, right? So total cost, previous month cost as well, and run this just for you to have that appeal. So for January there's nothing, makes sense. For February, if you see, it's basically a 9.7% increase, right, from January. So from 1062 it became 1166. Then from Feb to March it dropped again, so minus 8% decline. From here to April again it declined by about 2%. Then from here it increased by about 7%. Then from 1125 it dropped to 1084, so 3.7% drop. So the highest has been from Jan to Feb, where we saw 9.79% increase. Okay, this is how you can use multiple CTEs and also use lag to do this percentage change. Okay, interesting and slightly complicated question was question number 26. I'm going to paste the query here. Let's move to question 27. Okay, do the same as that question, but only for restaurant category. Okay, so if you have to do only for restaurant category, the query is going to remain pretty much the same, and we have to just put a filter on the restaurant category, right? So if I go here and open this table in a new tab, I see, for example, restaurant is category ID 4. So I can go back to our query, and over here I simply put where category ID equal to 4, right? So that will filter the total cost, but only for restaurant, right? Nothing else changes. So it's running. Let's see what we get. Now we see some stark differences. For example, from Feb to March, the jump is significant, 50% jump. So I told you March I didn't cook much. I used to order outside. That kind of makes sense, right? And then same way, then it drops back again in April, and then again drops, and then from May to June again there's a jump, right? So 73% jump. So it's like a lot of trends like going up, coming down, but this is what it is for this restaurant category. Q27. Okay, let's move to question 28. We are nearing the end. Find the date with highest number of unique categories where money was spent. Okay, this is a fairly simple question, so I'm going to remove everything else. Okay, delete all that is there. Find the date with the highest number of unique categories. Okay, so I'll say select date and then count of distinct category ID, right? On a particular date, what were the unique categories, and then we want to find which was the highest date in this. So I'll say group by date, order by discount distinct category, ID and say, you put double O, remove that and say descending, as simple as that. Let's see if there's a particular date. Okay, so I think 7th June, there have been 3 different categories where there's been some kind of purchase, money has been spent, right? That is the day. Rest of it is 2 or 1. So 7th June is that date. So I'm going to copy this. This is question number 28. Simple question. 29. Use case statement to categorize restaurants as Indian versus non-Indian based on name and show total cost for June, right? So for June, we need to use some case statement logic. Let's go back here, right? So first of all, I will remove all this and I will say where extract of month from date equal to 6. Okay. Step number 1, let's select everything. And then for restaurant, so we also need to format it by restaurant category. So if I go here, for example, Jaipur is restaurant, so category ID should be 4, right? So I will also put that as a filter equal to 4. So let's see what has been the restaurant expenses. So you see a lot, right? So in this, we have to tactically separate Indian, non-Indian. So the only Indian is Jaipur, the rest are all non-Indian, right? So I will simply say case when company equal to Jaipur, pretty simple. Then Indian, else non-Indian, okay? End as restaurant type. You can give it a name. Then use sum of cost. That's it. Right? So I'm splitting Jaipur versus the other ones. The others are non-Indian. And now we can say group by this restaurant type, right? The column that I created. For month of June, for restaurant category, Indian versus non-Indian. Non-Indian 50, Indian 21, right? That is the split up. Right? Indian only Jaipur, non-Indian had Panda and other restaurants as well. Question number, I think this is 29. Okay, so we are getting to the end. 30, ratio of total spend for restaurants versus grocery for April. Okay, so April, so first thing I will do is I'll put this is 4. Can remove this. So let us go back to the category table. And so restaurant is 4, grocery is 2, right? Category ID. So let's note that down. So we want to do the total cost only, right? So I'll do, this is a use case of a sum if. So I can say ratio of restaurant versus grocery, right? Restaurant is 4, grocery is 2. That is the ID. So sum of if category ID equal to 4, right? If it is 4, then do the cost, otherwise 0. This will show the total for the restaurant. And I can simply divide this by sum of if category ID equal to 2. Whenever it is category ID 2, which is grocery, please sum the cost, otherwise 0. So if I divide both these, and I'm putting equal to 4 in the filter because it is the month of April, right? So let us see what we get. So we get 0.36, right? What does that mean? So if I put a comma and see the values, right? What is the restaurant spend? What is the category spend? I mean for grocery. So restaurant spend is 63, grocery is 174. The ratio is about 0.36, right? So you can put divided by and that will give you the answer. So that is question number 30. Cool. Moving on. 31, average spend per month at Interstore. Interstore looks like some grocery store. So I can come back here. I can say where company equal to, let's see if there is something called Interstore, right? So I'm gonna just say star. Yeah, Interstore is there. So average spend per month. Okay. So what can we do? We can say company, comma, let's put average cost. I think it's AVG, but we also want to do per month. So I'm going to put our format. I mean, we can even put just the month. So you can say extract of month from date if we want. And group by, we can say these two, right? So instead of writing company and extract of month from date, we can also write group by 1, 2, group by the first and second column. This is also possible. Then we notice, okay, it's usually 12, 15, 7. This is average of each purchase, right? So we can do that. Or to make it even more correct, we can say sum of cost divided by count of distinct date. So like cost per each unique date that we visit. If I do something like this, then you see it's around that, right? March was a bit cheap. We didn't buy much, but the rest of the months is around 12 to 15, right? So this is basically calculating total cost divided by total number of days we have been. This will give you average cost for that month. We are doing the same for all the months. There was question 31. Next one, which company in shopping category had the highest total cost? I think we did something like this already. Shopping category is what? Category ID is 8. So I can say where category ID is 8, right? That's an easy thing to do. Which company had the highest cost, right? So I can simply say company, comma, sum of cost. Again, I can group by 1. Group by 1 means group by the first column, which is company. So I can run this. I think there are only 2 or 3 companies. So we can see Amazon had the highest cost. Okay. You can also do an order by if you want. Question number 32. Okay. And then use union clause to show total cost for kebab shop and also Panda using 2 different queries. So let us see the distinct names of these shops. Total cost using union. So there is kebab shop, K and S are capital. And what else was there? Panda. Okay. So we can easily do this. We can say company, comma, sum of cost from table where company equal to, first let me put kebab shop, group by company. This is done. And then I can use union all and simply copy the same query, right? Only difference is here I will substitute it by Panda. Right? They want us to write 2 different queries. To do this, give us the total cost for kebab shop and Panda. Kebab shop 34, Panda 66. Right? Simple use of union all. Question number 33. So we are almost there. And then finally, last question, is there any fully duplicate value in the data? Right? That means every row, like every column should be the same. Is there any kind of duplicate data like that? This is a bit of a tricky question. So I can say select star from and do this, right? I will run. So for this, we need to do a check of all the columns if there is any kind of duplicate. Okay. So what we can do, I will select everything and then I will say row number, right? And then I can say over, and here we need to partition by every single column. So by date, company, category ID and cost, and say row number. Okay, alias name. Let's try to run this query, right? And we see if I select all the 200 rows, I see row number is only 1, right? That kind of means there's no duplicate. What does this mean? Suppose there was row number 2 somewhere, that means that particular set of data is repeating multiple times, right? So if row number is more than 1, that means it is potentially duplicate data, right? So we don't have that. So to check that, we can put this whole thing in a CTE. So I would say with CTE as, and then say To check for duplicates, what we would do is we'll say select star from CTE where row number is greater than 1, right? If it shows some value, then that is a duplicate. Here it is no data, that means all our values are unique in each column, right? That means there's no two rows where all the values for all columns are the same, right? This is also very challenging and commonly asked question to find duplicates, so you can use this method. So I'm going to copy that. Question 34. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a long video. You can practice all these questions. We have tested a lot of concepts. I'm going to put the solutions, all the data in our description. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you again in another video next week. Till then, take care. Bye.